This is the nature of the game. A milk carton. We've all seen a milk carton, yeah? Get yourself a milk carton in mind. Whatever your milk carton is entirely up to you. And what I want you to do, and I want you to type this because I want you to be able to share this with the group quickly and easily afterwards. I'm going to give you 2 minutes, and in that 2 minutes, I want you to write down as many different uses as you can think of for a milk carton. The goal here is quantity. 2 minutes. How many different uses can you get down? Okay. So let me just get my timer lined up. And there we go. Are you all ready to go? A few thumbs up there, maybe. We good? We're good? Okay.
Yeah.
2 minutes. 101 uses for a milk carton. You might not get to 100, but get as close as you can. Off you go.
Are we putting these into the chat, Shane?
Just type them somewhere and then I'll get you to copy and paste them into the chat when we're at the appropriate point. Or you can also type into the chat and just not hit return until I ask you to, whatever works for you. It's the faces people make while doing this that I find interesting.
Yeah.
So you're a minute in and a minute to go. $25 seconds.
I think my brain is still frozen.
13 seconds. 5, 4, 3. Okay, we're done. So let me stop sharing there for a second. So the first thing I want you to do is into the chat box. I want the number of uses you came up with, and I want to know whether you were finished. In other words, if you came up with 15 uses and there were no more, type 15, done. If you came up with 15 uses and you were still working away and you feel like you got loads more to come, write 15 more. So 6 and done, 7 and not finished, 12 and more, 8 and more, 6 and done. Okay.
Of course, Joanne came up with 12.
I thought 12 was pretty poor, actually.
Okay, so yeah, in terms of groups I've done this with before, you are not untypical. That kind of range, you know, something more than 5, less than 15 is fairly common for this. Hopefully I'm going to show you by the time we're done in about 10 minutes that not only do you have lots more than the list you've put down, but that your list feels kind of bottomless. So let's see if we can get you to that point. So the next thing I want you to do is I want you all to copy your lists and just dump them into the chat. And as they're going in, can you all read them?
Sorry, I put mine in there earlier.
That's okay. Just lash it in again.
There you go.
Okay, so we have rain hat, waterproof shoe, box, post bag, plant pot, shelter, growing seeds, bird feeder, watering can, dog toy, baby toy, confetti, milk container, large ice cube maker, We have a float, a juice container, a storage container, a paint container, a mixer, a cocktail shaker, a toothbrush holder, a lamp base, a bookend, a yoga block, a weight lift. Is anybody noticing that there are some similarities here, but there's a lot of difference? Yeah?
Yeah.
A pen holder, a glasses holder, mixed paint samples. I'm going to scan now. I'm not going to read them all. A gerbil house. Ah, you had it. You had the help of your son. Interesting. Back to that.
I did.
Water container, flower pot, dressing up hat. Pencil stand, disposing of used fat. Interesting. Store that stuff that will come in usage. Any liquid storage. Arts and crafts, signage, and a paintbrush holder. Okay, so what I want you to see in that list is, first of all, that different people came up with different things. Yeah. But I'd also like you to notice the kinds of different things that they came up with. So there were a lot of containers. Yeah. There were some things that were, to do with a lot of things orbiting around what it already is, like a food container. So different types of food, then different types of liquids. Then there were things like, could I store something different in it? Then there's a gerbil house. So I could store a gerbil in it. Similar, but somehow different. Arts and crafts, while it's not specifically said there, may be implied in that as the idea that I could take this thing apart and put it back together again as something else. Yeah. Now, there are lots of other things you can do. What I want you to think a little bit about here is that behind the list that you made is a whole load of assumptions about what can be on the list. And you probably made all those assumptions quite automatically. People who are good at this kind of thing, this is what they change. They say things like, does it have to be a milk carton this size? What if it was a really big milk carton? What if it was made out of steel? What if it was in space? So there's a whole load of things you can do to say, what if I look at this differently? Yeah. So what I'd like to do now is, having thrown those thoughts at you, I'd like as a group, if you can just start typing uses into the chat. Anything more that now comes to mind based on what you've seen in other people's lists and based on a little bit of what I've just said to you there. Okay, I'm seeing typing. I'm not seeing anything come up. So just type and hit return for each one. Anything you can think of. Just riff on things that other people have done.
They're all coming up. There's a vehicle, garage, homeless shelter. Are you seeing it, Shane?
No, I'm not actually. That's kind of strange. Oh, hang on. There we go. Yep, cool. Yeah.
House, tunnel, swing.
A vehicle, a garage, a homeless shelter. Love it. A container ship that fits, that fits with this. It's good. Excellent. So context, bouncy castle, a house, a tunnel, a swing, a musical instrument, fashion, slide. Okay. So this is brilliant. So what I hope this has shown you is that just by being pointed in a slightly different direction, a whole load of different things come out. But the next thing I want to do, and I'm hoping this is going to surprise you quite a lot, is that when I asked you that question, as I said, you made a whole load of assumptions just automatically. You read the thing, write down, can you write down as many lists of uses for a milk carton as you can think of? When you look at that question, you think that the most important words in it are milk carton and uses. They're actually not. The most important word in the question is you, because what you are subconsciously doing is you're saying, oh, this is a list that I am going to have to write down, and I am going to have to read out, and I am going to have to present to this group of people. And what will they think of me? So we're all fairly hardwired to just do that automatically. It's a nice little thing that protects us, and it's great. But when we start talking about creativity is always helped by being in an environment where you feel safer to do things that might seem a little silly in other environments. Yeah. So Now what I want to do is play a little game that I hope is going to get you to be a little silly and be a little bit more open to things that you can do. Now, how many people do we have? We have 2, 4, we have 1, 2, 3, 6, 8. Okay, so normally we do this in, yeah, actually we can do 4 groups. I'll jump into one of them. So very quickly, let me just share this. And now, this is what we're going to do. For a while, we are going to pretend to be someone else. Okay, so I'm going to set up 4 groups, and to each of those groups, I'm going to assign a person, and I want you to do exactly the same task that you've just done, but I want you to pretend to be the person on the list that I'm about to show you. Okay, so you'll need to quickly just grab a screen grab of this list. So the first question is, do you know who all of those people are? No. Peter's shaking his head. So Peter Pan. Do we all know who Peter Pan is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Jacinta Ardern.
No idea.
She is the Prime Minister of New Zealand. You might have some idea who Donald Trump is.
No, never heard of him. He never existed.
Good. And do we all know who Greta Thunberg is?
Yeah.
Okay, so grab a quick screenshot of that, and I am now going to, once you've done that, I'll stop sharing and then I'll set up the groups, and I'll give you 2 minutes in the groups pretending to be one of these people. So whichever group number you're in, that's the person you're pretending to be. And exactly the same task. If you were Peter Pan, what list would you come up with for 101 uses for a milk carton? Okay, so sharing, breakout rooms. 4, and assign automatically. I'm not sure if it'll assign me, but if it doesn't, I think I can go into the one where there's only one person. So we'll see. And hopefully the others who are also co-hosts won't be excluded from this, but let's just see what happens. So who is not being assigned? I think Colin, I think you and me are not being assigned for some reason.
You can assign them there, I think now. You can manually do it.
Can I?
Yeah.
Options.
Just click on the person's name and just click to assign to a room.
Okay. So I'll open the rooms, and then I will assign the people who are left to the rooms, and hopefully all that will work. So again, 2 minutes, off you go, have some fun. And,
So Shane, which one are you joining?
I will join Peter in room.
I'll join Stephen.
You join Stephen in room 3.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, so let me see. How do I do
Just
this?
click join.
Do I just?
If you click join, did it pop up there for all the rooms for you?
I can see all the rooms in progress. So where would I get join?
It should be beside it.
I'm just seeing moved. Oh yeah, join. Yep, I'm going to join Peter. Yep. Okay.
Perfect.
Done.
We're both muted, talking to each other in silence.
I
think we're the only ones that hit leave room. We must have been the only ones with an alarm.
We were, because I wasn't very organized and I didn't actually automatically set the rooms to end. I've ended the rooms, but it takes then 60 seconds to actually end them. So they get a little bit of extra time.
Uh-huh.
So how are you anyway? We actually haven't been in a thing together before, though I've seen several of your videos.
Oh, have you? Right. They're a little bonkers.
Yeah.
But they were great fun to do.
Yeah.
Great fun. And it was the best thing for me to do from a business point of view for an awful long time.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Because it got people talking and it gave me a place to showcase, if you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
Ah, here they are.
Everybody's
Were we
back.
Were we hiding? Sorry.
We got very carried away. We've got some great ideas. We're going to change the world.
Excellent. So, did you by any chance copy your list of ideas so you can just share them in the chat, or do you just want to throw a few examples in?
I wrote them down, but Joanne typed them, I heard.
Okay.
Yeah.
So throw
So
a
we
few
were
things in.
Jacinda Ahern.
Yes.
Ardern. Sorry.
Jacinda or Jane, yes. Reproduce one for everyone, allow it to be freely used as housing for all, recycle it, share it equally among the population, make sure it's a unisex toilet, okay, ramp for wheelchair users, podium for diverse voices, fill it with food so no one goes hungry, solar panels, pour water out the spout to generate hydro energy. Excellent. That's some pretty good stuff. So who was Donald Trump?
Myself and Stephen.
Oh, and how did you get on?
Stephen, did you type them?
You're on mute, Stephen.
Or do you want to just freestyle and tell us?
So we had, we had a money jar, a storage jar for grievances, golf ball holder, wig holder, trophy cabinet, a model for perfect whiteness, fake tan holder. You could build a wall, make a jail, hold his ego, his empty promises, an echo chamber, milk America great again. And yeah, I think Colin, did we miss anything there?
Waterboarding device.
Waterboarding, sorry.
Yes. The echo chamber is the best.
And his fake news holder.
And his fake news holder, yeah.
So, and then what was it? So that was Jacinda, and that was Donald, and who had Peter Pan?
Maria and I did.
Okay, where'd you get to with Peter Pan?
Oh, fun.
Yeah, to be fair, we cheated again. My kids are here, so we had 4 of us involved in.
Yeah.
So we've got down here a boat, a bell, a hat, a dog collar for Nana the dog, wings, shoes, sword, shield, bow, and arrows. So that's kind of all the things to wear. Then we had a chest to hold all of his things in, Tinkerbell's, yep, house. And Maria came up with this one, which is great. An anti-aging cream, because we can hold an anti-aging cream in there.
Yeah.
Storage for a shadow, a hammock, and a phone.
Brilliant.
Oh.
Okay. Well, me and Peter had a little bit less time than the rest of you because I was faffing around putting people in rooms. I think this is our list. We had Greta Thunberg. So we had her sailing to America, putting the world's emissions into it, turning it into a soapbox. I forget what demo which is best means.
That was whether it was whether it was a plastic one or a cardboard one, and ask which one is best for the environment.
Yeah. We also had her figured as just, a young woman who might actually just want to be famous. So she would use it as a microphone in her bedroom for her X Factor audition. Okay, so hopefully the point has been made, and been made with a lot of fun, that you have an awful lot more ideas in your head than perhaps in simple terms you allow yourself to admit to. And to particularly, when I do this, I always put in a Donald Trump or something like that, because if you can imagine that I had just given you this test and you sort of said, well, I'm going to use it as a wig holder, or as a place for my ego, or as a representation of whiteness, I think it was, or something like that. There's a sort of an alarm that goes off that stops you from doing that. So sometimes for this to really work in a real world scenario, you actually have to acknowledge that you're adopting a persona in doing it, because that gives you permission and it gives everybody else permission to accept what you're saying as being just stuff. Mm-hmm. And the point of all of this ultimately is that good ideas come from many ideas. The worst thing you can do is try and come up with a good idea. The best thing you can do is come up with as many ideas as you can and then try and find good ones. So that's the point of divergent thinking, is to, when faced with a problem, just first of all, think of as many solutions as you can. and be as diverse as possible. So that's your challenge for the week, is, you know, at some moment where you find yourself facing a hopefully nice ordinary problem that you would solve in a nice ordinary way, it might just take 2 minutes to write down a list of what Donald Trump might do.
I think I'll stick with Jacinda.
Or Jacinta.
Yeah.
Or Peter Pan. Or anyone else. It can be someone, you know, you can pick someone who you look up to, or you can deliberately pick someone who's like just out there as ways of stretching your thinking.
Yeah,
Thank you,
cool.
Shane.
Love it.
Interesting stuff.
That's all I got.
Thanks very much.
Great. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much, Shane.
Thank you.
Go forth and
forward.
conquer.
Yeah. Look forward to next week.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Shane.
Right.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Good to
guys.
see you all.
Bye.
See it. Cheers. Bye.